Cool. So I think what would be where we could start is maybe have a I'm tired. What could be interesting is to understand your situation before you started working with me. What brought you to working with me on WhatsApp, and then we can discuss the WhatsApp journey in itself.
Yeah, so basically, I think my journey was a little bit unexpected for myself. So I
Mm,
was in a long relationship, and it was distance relationship, but it worked really well for 13 years. And
mm,
then when it came to like getting married to the person, things completely changed, and the way the relationship like dynamics changed was like unexpected to me. And ultimately, when the wedding did not happen and got canceled like a week before my before the event, it really affected me mentally, and I had a hard time coping at that time. And I was looking for like YouTube videos, trying to find how I can cope. And that's where I came across your videos, and I found a lot of comfort listening
mm,
to what you had, and I could relate. I had no idea about all those personality like avoidant or anxious attachment styles. So after listening to many of your videos, and I got to understand like what kind of attachment style I myself have, and how my partner like reacted, and how what his attachment style was. So things started to make sense to me a lot, and I had a lot of questions. So I like to scrutinize my situation and all the things that was going on around me. I had way too many questions that I had no answer of, and that's when I decided that I want to talk to you, and I had that option like to have WhatsApp coaching through you,
mm,
which helped me a lot, I would say, to reframe myself, to reframe my focus from thinking all the time about why he did what he did and why he didn't feel the way I felt, um, to like thinking more about myself, that I am my priority and I need to work on myself and my lackings.
mm.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I think yeah, and what you say is very interesting in the shifting, and I think it's very hard, very, very, very hard to do it on your own, especially after a breakup like yours that's like in a way violent, in the fact that it's like um, unexpected, um, and it's hard to recenter and re-get that attention. And when you don't have the support, whether it's a one-to-one therapy or coaching, or in that case on WhatsApp, you're left with your own thoughts, and obviously you shift back to the guilt, the shame, the sadness, the anxiety. And I think I don't know if you remember, but like the first few weeks was really about reassurance and getting to shift that mindset.
Yes.
Does it, yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, like something like you, the first few weeks, you wanted to understand the whole scenario, like from
Mm,
both sides, like whatever was happening in my mind and what actually happened. And when I told you like my ex's responses, you understood it from like outside the emotional point of view, which was mine. Like I was
mm,
very emotional, and there was one thing that you told me that I still remember, that you have to know that no matter what the outcome is, you will be okay. Like
mm,
whether you will be with him or not, it doesn't matter. You will be fine no matter what. So I think that was a really turning point for me, because until then you were listening to the whole case, like what's happening and everything,
mm,
all the dimensions. And I think for my case, one thing that was more than between me and my partner was the family dynamics, which played a very crucial role from both the sides. And yeah, so that made it very complicated, because initially when you
mm,
first heard like just between the two of us and the amount of history that we have, like amount of good memories that we had together, it did seem like, okay, this is possible, like you guys can get back together. But the moment the family dynamics got into play, you're like, okay, that's a tough one.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's harder to be one against a whole family dynamic and history, and I have few cases like that where um, where if the person decides to take the family side, it's very 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 hard, because you're basically fighting one against the whole family.
Yes, exactly.
So how did you feel during those first few weeks on WhatsApp with me?
I think it really helped me get out of my, like, very very grim stage, like when I was like, my all my thoughts were about him. Why
Mm,
is he not calling me? I'm giving him time, but he's not calling me. I'm on no contact. But I always hoped that, okay, he will contact me, but it didn't happen. Ultimately it didn't happen. So it was very painful. But you asked me some questions like, what are your goals, like what are your goals, what do you want from your life, what are your future? And I gave you a very long list, I remember, and I still look back at it and I see, okay, I have completed some of them. And like, I want to do more. I want to, like, start working on the next few achievable goals. And
mm,
that was good. Like, okay, I have something else in my mind. Okay, I plan on doing something like a run within 3 months, so I have to prepare. So my mind is uh, shifted. And it really helps, like the day I went for the run, actually, like I remember I was very emotional even in the beginning of the run, because oh my god, I am doing it. I just made the plan and I did it. So that was a
mm,
very good feeling for me, I would say.
mm. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think because again, it's really back to how can you how to put yourself back as a priority, and
Yeah.
and and sometimes when we are left on our own, it's easy to neglect ourselves because it's like it requires a little bit of nudge, a little bit of energy.
Yeah.
But obviously, once you get to it, that's really empowering, and that's what um, I really enjoy doing with you. Is like showing you that there's like there are other um, things you could do to regain that confidence.
Yes, I also want to, like, want people to know how much you've done for me. So there's one thing that, like, I remember right before my driving test, I was texting you and I was saying, okay, I'm very nervous and I don't know how it's gonna happen. And you just told me, congratulations in advance. And I was like, oh my God.
I remember. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, sometimes you lose trust in yourself, but mine
Yeah.
is like always to be on your side and
Yeah.
trust yourself if you don't, because I will always. And because also um, sometimes I see things people don't see. Uh, because we create realities, and I think the problem is like after a breakup, we create a really negative reality and really negative narrative around ourselves. So I think okay, interesting. I remember the so yeah.
It was like, I feel like there were very like low points, like emotional, this kind of things. They come in waves. And during my very lowest points, I did explain everything that I was feeling to you, and you gave me a way out. And
Mm,
that is helping me till now. Like whenever I'm feeling very low, I try to find a way out. Okay, I can do this. And what's the positive thing that I can come out of this from?
mm,
Like anything, okay. And one thing I do every night now is like, I tell myself, what are the 5 things you're grateful for that
mm,
happened today? Even the simplest things, and you feel like, oh my, I'm still so blessed. And yeah, I'm doing so much for myself, so it feels good.
mm. Yeah, and I think it's also uh, learning how to do it because like it's not something necessarily we learn
Yeah.
ourselves. So it's like getting those new habits in place and using that yes difficult time in our lives, but like to implement things that are healthy for us. So it's a whole process. That's why it's usually very hard to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Um, what else did you enjoy, or did you feel? Oh, okay, I'm glad I have Alexis I can talk to.
Sorry. Oh,
What else did you?
okay, so actually, even other than that, I had other aspects of my life that was like not going so well,
Mm,
with other kinds of people, like be it at professional level or personal level, like my relationship with all the people around me that I meet every day. So you did help me to understand like that I have the people pleasing attitude, and I have to make sure that I tell people off when I need to. I set my boundaries, and I have been doing it. Like I've been really like trying to be aware of my conversation with people
mm,
and see how they perceive me, and when I am talking to them, are they actually listening to me, or they are they not listening to me, or being a bit like I can understand if they value me or not. So the moment I see that they don't value me, I know where to, make the
mm,
line and back off. Or like if someone is behaving rudely with me, I know where to say. And it's difficult. It's still difficult, I would say, but still I know, I'm aware that at this point I need to say something, and I say it. I do it in the politest way I can, but I do say it, and it feels so good. It's a
mm,
very brave move. I would say every time I do it, I feel like, oh my God, my heartbeat rate has like, I can feel my heartbeat. But the moment I do it, I feel so good. I feel relaxed and released of all the, thoughts and everything. So yeah, so this is also a very big, take back from the WhatsApp coaching calls.
mm.
And yeah,
What our therapists say usually, um, is that if it feels scary, it's good because it's the right thing. You're going in the right direction. You're pushing you're pushing yourself towards something that is actually helping you to push forward, uh, and if if there is a resistance, it's usually it's a very good sign that you're going in the right direction. If you don't feel any resistance, you're not working on anything. That's the problem. So and it's scary, but it's like um, at the beginning it feels like an effort, but you'll see that gradually it becomes like almost like a second nature, and it becomes easy.
okay, yeah. I have been implementing that in my workplace,
Okay.
and yeah, I feel good because whenever I feel like there are more points where I feel like I'm getting bullied, and I kind of stand up for myself,
Mm,
but in not in an irrational way. I take my time to think and see how I can like do better, how I
mm,
can like improve myself, and at the same time say where I try to get what I need to learn from this situation, and then also set the boundary,
mm.
because it could also come in a nice way from the other person, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge that, but at the same time I try to tell myself, okay, I think this happened to me because maybe I have some lackings that I can work on. So yeah, so I would say these weak points help me to like, be a better person
Mm.
in every role.
And how was um, the immediate like benefit or things where you felt that helped you to grow as a person? How did coaching help you?
One thing I have to say is like I'm a very anxious person, very, very anxious
Mhm.
person. I need my things uh, then and there at times. I need an answer then and there, but like sometimes we need to understand that it doesn't have to be then and there, and it can take time. You can take so while having those chats, I know you work Monday to Friday and you answer, like I say everything and then you answer when you have your time. It helped me to like the first day when I respond a message, then I was like, oh, he did not respond. I felt like very anxious.
Mm,
I think it was a Friday, and the next time you work is on Monday, so I felt pretty anxious, and I was like, then I thought, okay, this is really good because this helps me to understand that I have to give the time, and I have to give people the time as well.
Mm,
And so that was a good exercise, and now it has become a normal thing for me that okay, I'll do my bit and I'll give them time, and I'll get the answer when I get the answer. It's all right. I've done my
mm.
bit. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Good for all of my clients working with me being frustrated that I don't always reply right away.
Yeah.
This is for your good. um, um, Anything else that you would want to share to someone who's like uh, maybe who has a therapist or is wondering about getting help on WhatsApp? Because it kind of for some people it feels like not strange, but it's like, oh yeah, I want to speak with the person on the phone. What was the for you the uh, the impact and the value of being able to speak with me on WhatsApp?
So I think the greatest thing is when you're like talking to a therapist, you have a session booked and you say everything that comes in your mind at that point. But like, as you know, like with this kind of breakups, when it's so difficult, you have the trauma that comes in waves, as we say. And
Mm,
when you have that lowest point in the day or on that week, you just want to say what you feel in your heart, and you can't always do that. Like, you can't accumulate everything and say with the same emotions in a therapy call,
mm,
because you don't know how you'll be feeling at that time. You might be feeling really good, and all those things that you were accumulating in your low points are gone by then, I would say. So it really helped me that whenever I was feeling low, I would just send you a text saying what I'm feeling. And also when I'm writing it out, sometimes what happens is when you label your emotions, when you label everything, the power that it has on you decreases.
mm,
So like it's a bit like journaling, but like telling someone who can also like tell you a different perspective of what you're feeling. So I think that was a very powerful thing for me. Like whenever I was like chatting you, I would usually message late at night, right before I go to sleep, because that's when I feel my lowest. And I would just say everything that I think, all the questions that I have in my mind, why this is happening to me and why did they do this and that. And then I know the answer. I do know the answer. Like, okay, this is who they are, and this is who I am. That's why I'm feeling like this. But the fact that I could, like have a support when I'm in my lowest really helped me.
mm.
And although we're not in the coaching sessions at this point, but I do go through those waves still, and I try to use like journaling in like, and then also sometimes look through your notes, like the things that you suggested me in these kinds of situations, and to refer back, so that helps a lot, like how I
Yeah,
can frame my mind.
it's interesting what you say because like um, what I like doing is is helping people and but in a way like teaching people things, so they learn and they're equipped. So my aim is not to stay with my clients forever; is to equip them with
Yeah,
the right set of tools so they can be on their own. That's why I tend not to stay with clients for a very long time. Not because I don't want to be with them for a very long time, but that's my approach is like I want you to get up to speed and not need my help forever. So it takes the time it takes, and people have different timelines. But I think, and also the factor on journaling, yeah, I often say that, and I think sometimes people don't get it. For me, WhatsApp is also the way you could use WhatsApp is as an interactive journal. So with the same benefit of a journaling, but like really improved,
yeah,
because I think and I think people don't, some people they don't understand the value of journaling because when you journal, and actually more broadly, when you speak with a therapist, you have to gather your thoughts and structure your thoughts.
yeah,
I had this realization the other day because I was working with a business coach, and just having to explain your problems and your challenges helps you to find half of the problem. And then there's another layer of like how can we unpack this and structure this and make that step forward. But I think using WhatsApp like as a journal is extremely powerful because because it's the journal that replies, obviously. Cool, amazing, really good, really interesting. Any anything else, or what made you? So you were watching my videos. What made you get on WhatsApp?
So I think I could relate to the content, and I would say like I I was having a very hard time, very hard time, and I think listening, I would use your YouTube videos as a podcast that I listen to, and I fall asleep in the middle. So not that it's boring, it's just soothing, it's reassuring, and I want, like, the last thing that I hear before when I fall asleep is something positive.
Mm,
So I really got that through your videos. And although I didn't meet you at that point, but I already like trusted you because like the things that you were saying resonated with what I was feeling.
mm,
I would say so. That's how I wanted to have a call with you, and then I think we did have a like 15-minute call before I started the consultation, and yeah, it was, I think for me that was a very good decision on my end.
mm.
Yeah, and I absolutely like, I'm so grateful to you, honestly. I do pray for you a lot.
Thank you so much, Ayla. That's why I do this job. I think it's because it's one of the only few jobs where you can really make an impact on people. Um, and and um, and and that's I'm grateful for that. So I'm gonna blush. Um, what about um, what about now? What's different? How different are you now than when we started working together?
So I think the moment I stopped the coaching is like, when it was like a 1 year anniversary of when my
Mm,
wedding got canceled. And I was so scared. I was so scared of like that
mm,
month, and like the 3 months following that month, because I knew what I went through. And I could see that sometimes like my body also can feel the pain anniversaries, and I would feel very low. And I just made a decision, like I'm feeling very weak, very low. But I think you have provided me with all the tools, and I felt if I can implement all the things that you have told me for the past like 6 7 months, if I can implement it on my own and get out of this like 3 months phase on my own, especially 1 month phase on my own, I think I can handle myself. And so I took it as a challenge for
mhm,
myself. And I told you about it, that what do you think? Because I set a set of like I made a set of goals for myself based on whatever we have, like whatever you have taught me so far. And I think it helped me a lot. Like whenever I was having um, bad thoughts, I was trying to reframe myself, and I have been reading a really nice book that also helped me calm myself. So yeah, that's about anxiety, about a person, how she handles her anxiety, and that's something I read at night.
mm.
It has been good. I do have my ups and downs, but the moments when I feel really low, I try to take some time and understand what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling like this and how I can, get out of this. So thanks to
The
you.
Yeah, and I think it's always like scary, but it's you have to, because you don't want to be working with me all your life.
Yeah.
It's always like the but what I'm working on at the moment, and actually that's a good transition, is actually trying to find a way to uh, provide some kind of support to my former clients uh, with workshops. I need to figure out how it would work, but like I know that you don't need my help like one-on-one necessarily, but like whether you're in a relationship or you're in dating phase, etc., is like helping people who've worked with me. Um, a post coaching. So stay tuned. I'll send you some details because I think it's working on ourselves is like something that we should be doing regardless of our situation and
Yeah.
kind of mindset. So that's, and creating content that are not necessarily like, I'll get your ex back, or but more around relationship skills. So it's something I'm working on. I'll probably release it next year. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I've been trying to join your workshops, but I always have a hard time getting back home by then. But I do have the videos, like the Zoom videos, because I sent a link and it was really good.
Okay. So you watched the replay, because I didn't see you on those calls, so I thought, because that's the problem with the live calls, it's like you need to be there, and I can't really accommodate everyone. So that's why we're trying to figure out a way for people to really benefit from this kind of work and community.
Yeah. Hopefully next